Hello and welcome to the first Sunday in July. My name's Rev'd Julie and I am from St Mark's Church, Brampton, here in Chesterfield. And this is our 16th Sunday where we are separate and together, unable to meet in our church building and yet able to gather as the church in our respective homes. Our Bible passage today is from Matthew's Gospel, begins at verse 16 of chapter 11. I had one of those light bulb moments this week when I realised that we are reading the story of Jesus through the book of Luke during the week, and on a Sunday we are delving deeper into the story through Matthew's Gospel. The same story told from different perspectives, but with the purpose of drawing us closer to Jesus. Please take your time to read the 14 verses from chapter 11, beginning at verse 16 through to verse 30. Some of this passage may be familiar, especially the verses towards the end of the passage. But my eye was drawn this week to the middle section, to verses 20 to 24, which in my Bible has the unpromising heading of Woe to unrepentant cities. Stay with me and I will explain. Some things do not change. And just as today there are many who hear the good news of Jesus and choose not to respond, so it was even in Jesus' day. In these verses, Jesus remembered the miracles and the works of power that had taken place in the cities of the region. He singled out Chorazin, Bethsaida, and Capernaum as places where people had listened to, witnessed, and experienced life-changing events, but who preferred to carry on in their own way. The earlier chapters of Matthew teem with examples of the miracles of Jesus. Take a look back into Matthew with me now and use your imagination to remember the miracles. Remember, from chapter 4, verse 24, watching Jesus move through crowds of people, hear their cries of pain, distress, and anxiety. Listen to Jesus speaking words of healing as he responds to each person in turn. Or in chapters 5 to 7, remember hearing what Jesus was teaching and being amazed that he spoke with authority. In chapter 8, verses 1 to 4, remember being so close to Jesus, you saw him touch the leper and say, "Be clean." In the same chapter, verses 5 to 13, remember the Roman centurion who asked Jesus to heal his servant and then believed that Jesus need only say the word. Remember Simon Peter's mother-in-law in chapter 8 and verses 14 to 17, when she was sick with fever, and Jesus came and touched her, and she was made whole again. And later in that same chapter, verses 23 to 27, remember the storm on the lake with the fear, exhaustion, frantic activity, looking death by drowning in the face and crying out, "Lord, save," only to experience the instant calm, the restoration of peace, the renewal of hope, and the work to then complete the journey, and so on. These stories are also our stories. Have you noticed how miracles happen to people who are close to Jesus? Jesus is always found with people in their need, trouble, pain, near-death experiences. And as he listens, speaks, touches, changes the situation for good, he does so at close proximity. We have had to get used to staying apart, but Jesus continues to ask us to draw near to him. We have had it drummed into us that we must be apart by at least 6 feet. But Jesus continues to reach out and touch us with his healing power. We may well be missing the sacrament of Holy Communion, yet Jesus continues to say to us today, "Remember me." So how might we stay close to Jesus this week? Well, the answer lies in our hands already. We have daily prayer and the Bible readings for July, which, as I said, take us through the Gospel of Luke. We have the 40 days reflection on the Lord's Prayer in the booklet that was sent out last week. We have each other to speak to. And we have the God-given gift of prayer. So this week, let us remember the miracles.